Alright, what's up? I hope you're doing well. My name is Ursh, and today I just really wanted to make a video about the pitfall that most young men fall into. And I thought that this was going to be a pretty interesting video because I have kind of talked about this, but not really. So this is going to be a very good video if you are a person that's into self-improvement. So let's get right into this. We will start with a Bible verse. I think I forgot that last time, so I need to keep the tradition, and I've got one right here. We've got Proverbs 21:21. He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor. And this is what you want to achieve, righteousness. I've already made a video on that, more on that later. But righteousness is the ultimate result that you really want to achieve. And what we're going to be talking about today is how to not achieve righteousness. First off, because we are going to start with this right here. There are more and more young people who are confronted with problems of degeneracy, addiction, and everything that's coming to us in our modern day. Mostly it's out of our influence, so we have things like addiction in terms of porn and basically using sex as addiction. Degeneracy in terms of values and morals getting degenerated very, very rapidly, especially in the younger people. And bad influences in terms of, let's say, somebody on TikTok like Andrew Tate or something. And I think that is definitely a prevalent problem which many young people have to contend with. And to fix these problems, most young people, and especially young men, because young women also have these problems, but I'm speaking for men because I know our situation, come to self-improvement for guidance because they think it can fix their problems. And after all, it has promises of getting jacked and having a brotherhood and having like everything positive, good mental health, a bunch of money, and everything that you could want, basically. And many people, because people at let's say 14, including me, still at 17, are pretty gullible to this kind of thing and fall for this very easily if you have not been confronted with this at any time beforehand. And this leads us to our thing today. Because I used to be one of them. I used to go down the self-improvement rabbit hole. It was, I believe, it was 1.5 years ago when I started, pretty much exactly. I started in early April 2022. And I went down the self-improvement rabbit hole for over a year. Because self-improvement was really like the way out at that time. And that is the thing for many people as well. Many people think, yeah, this is going to be it. I'm going to stop gaming, stop every bad habit that I have, get a routine, and I'm going to really have a better life after this. But that is the best vision, certainly. But that is the vision that's being sold. Even if it's free, it's still going to have a big problem. Because the self-improvement space, there you go. So red pill, stoicism, manosphere, big Tao, everything, that kind of, you know what I mean, is like the anti-degeneracy haven, which I've labeled it as for most people at first glance, because everybody is like, yeah, let's go back to traditional values, and yeah, that is what we're going to be talking about in a little bit. But that's basically what it says. But it's not exactly what it is. And it is, as you can see here, very, very deceptive. And it's filled with misogyny, unstable men who use tactics and principles to get a woman, and our topic, self-righteousness. Because this, right here, is the root of everything that's happening in the manosphere, self-improvement, and why it has so many bad influences. Like, just look at Andrew Tate, for example, when he says, "Oh, but a man can have 1,000 wives, but if one woman has more than 2 husbands, she's a hoe. But men can do anything they want." Yeah, certainly. It's not like it's a little bit dumb or something. No, definitely not. But anyway, I moved the camera a little bit. Excuse me. There you go. And this is what I want to be talking about today. That was not correct English, but yeah, we'll look over that. Self-righteousness. And how men get into this, why men get into this, and most importantly, how you can get yourself out of here. And someone else also, but that's going to be a little bit harder. Getting yourself out is #1 priority. So let's get right to this. Self-righteousness and the consequences. This focus on yourself through self-righteousness can result from many things. So that can be from two sources mainly. First off, how you were raised, because morals, as I said, in families are really degenerating fast. Okay, like it's growing at a pretty big rate. You are not of the generation of your, let's say, grandparents who had very strong values and very strong morals anymore. But you are more like, yeah, you can do whatever you want, and it is your life, so live it how you wish. So that is how self-righteousness can actually manifest, because people are becoming less godly and more degenerate, and self-righteousness is lost. Self-righteousness is promoted, and righteousness is lost through not living on godly principles. We'll get to that in a bit. And these movements on the that happens mostly through family. But the other thing, which even people from very traditional households, including me, might get into, is the movements on the internet, such as self-improvement and red pill, and more on that, like in terms of like the whole manosphere, like stoicism, MGTOW, as I already mentioned. Just going into this with a little bit of thinking, let's look at the words self-improvement. It's self and improvement. You are basically just improving yourself. But that is very selfish. You are not focusing on anything but yourself. And you're always told today that, yeah, focus on yourself, King. That is the only thing you should do. You should open up your business. You should rock that body. And while certainly those things are good, because having a good body is very, very important in your life, and having good money is also very important in your life, this is built on the wrong foundation. Because what you try to do is do this for yourself. You're not looking at the scope that is beyond yourself. And it's just always shoved off or just like pushed aside as, yeah, this is not really that bad. And selfishness should actually be promoted in society. But this is not the case, because you only live for yourself. What you want is everything for yourself. You are not focusing on having it better for other people. You are not focused on adding value to the world or providing value to someone through a service. But the only thing you want is money. For example, you are only building a body for yourself, and not for the fact that maybe you'll have a wife one day and she will want you to actually look pretty good. Like, she does not want some Zoomer or something that weighs like 120 kilos. But this is the problem that you face once you are living for yourself. So this is what self-improvement leads to. Self-righteousness. You stop adding value, as I said, you stop adding value to society. You just never help someone out of your heart, but only focus on yourself. And self-righteousness will lead to the opposite of righteousness. As you can see, this was our beginning. I think it's starting to make sense now. This is what we want to achieve. But at the end of the day, we're getting exactly the opposite. Because look at this sentence. He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor. These are the things that we all want. But the things that you're getting from self-righteousness are exactly the opposites. So let's invert this sentence, and you'll get exactly what you'll get with righteousness. He that followeth after self-righteousness and tragedy findeth death, self-righteousness, and dishonor. It's kind of funny how righteousness leads to more righteousness, and more self-righteousness leads to even more self-righteousness, huh? That's a pretty interesting thought to have in mind, because it will get you deeper and deeper and deeper. So the deeper you are, it will be even more difficult to get out of here. And I just realized it got dark pretty quickly in here, so I'm sorry for the brightness of my cam. As a little side note. Yeah, this is exactly what we just looked at. And another one to accompany this. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that he shall also reap. Galatians 6:7. So that means if you sow, if you sow self-righteousness, you will reap self-righteousness from everything around you. And if you sow righteousness around you will also be perceived. This is very important, because that which you start with, you will get more of later down the line. So while self-righteousness might not actually be that bad in the short term, certainly it will pose big time problems in the future. And the same goes for righteousness. It might not have a very big return on investment at the beginning because you are missing out on, let's say, you're missing out on quick money. I don't know, making a business that starts 10K or something, like all those people that are telling you that. Or having someone out there who's building their body on a very unrighteous foundation. Like, let's say they're taking like TRT or something. They will reap their rewards one day, and you will too. And that is why you need to build on righteous foundations. And yeah, whether now or later, you will get back what you do. Whether it be the consequences of self-righteousness or the gifts of righteousness itself. A self-righteous man will never, and here's the biggest problem, a self-righteous man will never follow God and will think that he himself knows better and will also never follow his principles. Says quite a lot if you think that you're smarter than God, don't you think? Because there were cases in the Bible of people, and most important, we'll get to that in a moment, of people and things who thought that they were better than God. You want to know the biggest and worst example? Satan. He thought that he was better than God. And guess what happened to him? He was booted out of heaven. And want to know the worst part? Angels went with him. And that is how they became fallen angels. And those are demons today, by the way. Just so that you know. But yeah, that is basically what happens if you think you're smarter than God. Look at Nimrod, who built the Tower of Babel. He also had a very, very bad ending to that. And this is why self-righteousness is a big problem. So let's get right to the actionable steps. If I haven't convinced you that self-righteousness is bad, then I do not know. I'm sorry, like, self-righteousness is bad. Just trust me on that, okay? And this video is purely for the mindset. I've already made a video, as you can see, on righteous foundations, and you can watch that if you wish. You just have to click on the link and that's it. And I'm not saying that the things that self-improvement teaches in terms of the habits, like going to the gym and eating healthy and building up social skills and mental health, not saying that those are bad, because those things are very valuable and very vital. But this is the thing that most people get wrong. They built it on a self-righteous foundation, and that foundation will crumble. So this is the most important thing right here. And it's important to reframe your mind that you're not going to do this for yourself, but for your future family, and most importantly, God. Because that is what you're going to get later on. Had a little bit of a brain fart right there, sorry. And if you have, this is a very interesting point. If you live for yourself, you only have the scope of yourself, okay? Like, you think, okay, I'm just going to think about myself, and okay, you only have yourself in scope. So let's say you're at this level. But if you think beyond yourself, you can rise to this level, or like here, like it's going off the screen, but you know what I mean. If you think about your family, if you think about your community, if you think about the people you can help, if you think about, I don't know, God, if you think about, whatever. If you think about something that's beyond yourself and you don't put yourself in first place, then will the good things come. Because if you put yourself in first place, you have pride, you have selfishness, and you are going to be drowned in that. But if you put other things above yourself, so to speak, I'm not saying that you yourself are not important. No, that's a bit of a different discussion. But if you put other things above you, you will put out a lot better things. Because big buildings or things that we admire today were not built for the person in question. You did not, like, somebody didn't build a palace for themselves to live in. No, that was built for generations. That was not built for himself. And if that palace, whether that palace was a good or bad investment, it is still a big feat of art and a big feat of accomplishment. And that is definitely something that you should keep in mind. Because if you have something to live beyond, if you have something to live for beyond yourself, that is when you can make a big, profound impact. And here are the concrete steps for that. Excuse me, I have to scroll down. These are the two things that I think you can do right after this video. And these are not going to take long or anything. Study the Bible regarding righteousness. Look at verses regarding righteousness and make sure you understand them, because those are right, and you should also start implementing them. All you have to do is search up the Bible righteousness and look at verses which the Bible indicates. There is also a free Bible app out there. Basically, I'll get back to this in a moment. This is what I want to end the video with. But if you go here, Bible.com. As you can see, you just have to write Bible.com and you have the whole Bible in front of you, as you can see right here. So study the Bible for righteousness. You don't need to use the Bible itself, but to search, like here, you can just search righteousness and it should should show you a result. And you can also do the opposite, so to speak, and study the Bible regarding negative attributes, such as selfishness and pride, and all of the other bad things like greed and, the 7 carnal sins, for example, and start taking them out bit by bit. So analyze yourself, see if you are actually doing these things and are self-righteous and not righteous in the eyes of God, and start taking the things out bit by bit, because honestly, that is going to be a big, big factor. So yeah, that is it for the video. Might have went in circles a little bit, but I just wanted to make this video because I haven't been making videos for the last 2 weeks because of school, which came a little bit in the way with exams and things like that. But I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I thank you very, very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. And I'll try to upload a video a little bit more frequently than I did for the last few weeks. So yeah, I shall see you next time. See ya.